Hi, welcome to Lord of Anime Recaps. In this video, we will be taking a look at the first 4 episodes of the series, Kaze no Stigma. A young man was exiled from his clan because he couldn't use fire, but now he's returned as the world's most powerful wind mage. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be sure you don't miss the next episodes. The story begins with a young girl named Ayano fighting an evil spirit. She's the daughter and heir to the Kannagi clan leader. The Kannagi clan is a powerful family that practices the art of fire magic for years. As the fight continues, she uses her flaming sword to attack and destroy the evil spirit easily. After she vanquishes the enemy, 2 of her friends arrive and commend her for her win. They then suggest that she follow them out to have some fun to celebrate the victory. Elsewhere, a man named Kazuma Yagami arrives at a house where he's been assigned a job to exorcise an evil spirit haunting the place. Kazuma used to be a member of the Kannagi clan, but when they found out that he couldn't use fire magic like the rest of them, they banished him. It's been 4 years since he was exiled, and now he's returned to Japan as the strongest wind mage in the world. He enters the house and is surprised to see someone familiar. Already seated inside is Yuki, the son of a branch family related to the Kannagi family. Seeing Kazuma after 4 years, Yuki still mocks him for his inability to use fire magic. He even tries to intimidate him, but Kazuma is unshaken by his words. Their little squabble is interrupted by the owner of the house, who asks them to set the differences aside and work together to get rid of the spirit. The spirit suddenly appears, and Yuki attempts to kill it using his fire magic. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, and instead backfires because the spirit just absorbs the fire and uses it against him. This leads to the whole house getting set on fire. Yuki even gets knocked out cold by the spirit, leaving only Kazuma left to face it. Seeing his house ablaze, the house owner is terrified and begs Kazuma to save him. However, Kazuma tells him that he'll have to pay more if he wants to live, so desperately offers to pay 100 times the initial price they agreed on. After agreeing with the new terms, Kazuma uses his wind magic to effortlessly destroy the spirit. When Yuki wakes up, he finds out what happened and rushes back to report back to the clan leader Jugo, who is Ayank's father, and informs them that Kazuma has returned to Japan as a powerful wind mage. He also tells them that Kazuma has even changed his last name. Jugo is quite pleased that Kazuma has found his destiny in the world, but Genma, Kazuma's father, still isn't impressed because he feels that Kazuma is a disgrace for not being able to use fire magic. As far as Genma is concerned, he has only one son, and that's Kazuma's younger brother Ren, who can use fire magic. He reveals that he disowned Kazuma years ago because he's convinced that his inability to use the clan's magic makes him a failure. At night, while the Kannagi clan members are asleep, an unknown man sneaks into the house to kill Yuki and 2 of his family members. The next day, the rest of the clan wake up to discover that it was a wind mage who killed them. Due to the revelation, they all begin to suspect Kazuma since he just recently returned. The family immediately concludes that he came back for revenge, and so Genma sends 2 trusted members named Shingo and Takeya to find Kazuma and bring him back for interrogation. Jugo warns Ayano not to get involved in the matter, but she doesn't heed, and instead, she secretly goes with Takeya and Shingo to search for Kazuma. They eventually find him, but on their way to his location, Ayano is suddenly trapped by a force of wind. Shingo and Takeya continue, and when they finally get to Kazuma, he refuses to follow them. He tells them that he's innocent of any accusations and asks them to leave him. They try to seize him, but before they can do that, a sudden force of wind attacks and kills them. Kazuma then looks at the sky and sees a huge hand coming out of the sky before it disappears. Meanwhile, Ayano finally manages to get out of the wind trap and finds that Takeya and Shingo have been killed. She immediately attacks Kazuma, concluding that he killed them, but he uses a little of his wind magic to defeat her, before informing her that the Kannagi family is being targeted by another wind mage who he doesn't know. Afterward, he floats away and disappears, leaving her with the corpses. After finding out that Takeya and Shingo have been killed, the Kannagi clan once again suspects that Kazuma was the one responsible for it. Genma is furious and decides to visit Kazuma to force him into coming back with him for interrogation. That afternoon, Genma calls Kazuma on the phone and informs him about the meeting later in the evening. Later, Kazuma goes to the location, and while waiting for Genma to arrive, he thinks back to some horrible memories of his childhood. He remembers how his father mercilessly exiled him 4 years back for not being able to use the power of fire magic. The memory of that day still haunts him, and that was the same day he grew to hate the Kannagi clan. A while later, Genma finally arrives and immediately asks him to turn himself in. Kazuma becomes enraged that the first thing his father can do after banishing him 4 years ago is to accuse him of killing members of the family. Instead of feeling sorry, Genma just belittles Kazuma, calling him good for nothing because he practices wind magic instead of mastering fire magic like the rest of the clan. This makes Kazuma even more furious, so he attacks Genma with his wind blades, but he easily deflects the attacks with his fire each time Kazuma attacks. He then throws in some flaming blasts of his own. Kazuma manages to dodge his father's attacks, so Genma decides to summon his most powerful fireball and unleashes it on him, gathering a powerful blue flame that is granted to the Kannagi clan by the Fury God. Genma demands that Kazuma follow him for the last time, but his reply is still the same. Kazuma extinguishes the flame with a more powerful wind magic attack and manages to defeat his father finally. Afterward, he leaves Genma there and returns to the hotel where he is staying. There, he meets his younger brother Ren, who was waiting for him. Even after what the clan did to him, Kannagi still loves his brother Ren. The both of them seem to still have a very good relationship, despite all the terrible things that happened. Ren asks Kazuma if he was the one who killed Yuki, and the other family members advising him to explain things to the Kannagi clan if he's innocent, so that there wouldn't be any more misunderstanding. Unfortunately, Kazuma hates the clan so much that he's not willing to explain himself to them, and so he rejects the advice. The next morning, Kazuma and Ren are attacked while they're asleep by a mysterious wind mage, so Kazuma manages to carry his little brother and escape with him. In the process, the building is partly destroyed and Ayano, who had come looking for Ren, gets buried under the rubble. After escaping the first time, they're both attacked by the wind mage again, but while fighting, Kazuma realizes that Ren has been abducted. The next day, Kazuma goes to the Kannagi clan to inform them that Ren has been kidnapped. On his way to the clan residence, he remembers some of the horrible things that happened to him while growing up, all because he couldn't use fire magic. He remembers how the other children in the clan would bully him and burn him because he lacked power. When he finally gets to the gate, he's confronted by a group of men, but effortlessly defeats all of them using his wind magic. Afterward, Jugo comes out, so Kazuma informs him of Ren's abduction. The clan leader then invites him into his house so that they can talk about the situation and find a solution. Inside, the two discuss further, and after some investigation, they conclude that the kidnapper is a wind mage named Ryuya Kazumaki, the son of a Kannagi clan servant, Hue, who is a member of the Fuga clan. After hearing this, Jugo suggests that the abduction must be an act of rebellion from the Fuga clan. Suddenly, Ayano makes her way into the room and also confirms Kazuma's story. This makes Jugo tell them a story from many years ago. He tells them about the war between the Kannagi clan and the Fuga clan. The Kannagi clan came out victorious, and afterward, they locked away the god that gave the Fuga clan their power. It appears that the Fuga clan plans to free their god during the awakening, and the only way they can do that is by sacrificing a direct relative of the Kannagi clan leader. Elsewhere, we see that Ryuya and his father are preparing Ren for the ritual, so they can break the seal that's keeping their demon god, Yaoma, locked away. This seal was created in such a way that anyone outside the family that touches it would be burned alive. In the ritual, the resurrected god would first possess Ren's body before entering Ryuya's body. After Hyoe takes Ryuya to the site for the sacrifice, they initiate the ritual process. Back at the Kannagi clan residence, Jugo, Ayano, and Kazuma plan a rescue mission, and Kazuma agrees to help but asks to be paid for his services because he's no longer a member of the clan. That brings us to the end of today's recap on Kaze no Stigma. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and kindly comment below if you would like to see the next part. Thanks for watching and bye for now. See you next time.